We always do. Anthony, so great to see you. Happy Monday. I'm in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I'm in my studio in New York. You like the view?
I think it's absolutely beautiful. If only it was real.
I'm
Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey, everybody, and Anthony, so great to see you. Thanks for tuning into No Vacancy Live. That's Anthony Melchiori. I'm Glenn Hausman. It is March 21st, 2022, episode 603. How are you, my friend?
603.
Yep.
Wow. And about 20% of that was remote?
It seems like it, right? And I'm right down here in Atlanta, and I'm excited because as we get to travel a lot. And Anthony, we were just talking a moment ago. When will we get to see each other in Vegas? Looks like I have not one but two trips that are brewing right now for Vegas.
Oh, really? We do? When are they?
Well, Choice Hotels is during their annual conference that they've invited me to, and Intercontinental Hotels Group is also doing their conference as well in May. Plus, Anthony, we're going to be in Orlando in middle of May as well, joining the Scala event, doing their lunch in.
That's right. I'm actually going down to speak to IHG in Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to say the 1st of April. I'm doing a little Q&A questions and answer with my friend Jimmy the Man Taylor.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool, and I'm really hoping to be a part of the IHG event in April. But I'll tell you, man, as we are getting back on the road, and I'm seeing a lot more people come, I feel like we're moving into a new era now, right? We're getting past things, and that's why we're going to be talking today with our good friend Lee Hunter, where I'm at the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference that kicks off tomorrow morning, and of course, we're going to be.
Okay, it looks like he's frozen. I don't think I'm frozen. And
there's Chris.
You were frozen there for a minute, sir.
Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on. We the good folks here at the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference nice enough to give us hardwire line. So I don't know why it switched over to Wi-Fi there, but we should be all right. Lee Hunter, great to see you, my friend. Chris Green.
Glenn, how are you?
Welcome back. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
It's awesome. It's so weird that we're right next to each other, and he's got to look at that screen over there. I've got to look at the screen over here. Chris, so great to see you. Someone's been super busy out there on the road.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be doing business. So much is going on, and I think we're going to see more of that when I arrive at Atlanta. I know Lee's already seeing it, and you're there, Glenn, but I hear attendance is going to be super strong. Everybody I know is going. I look forward to seeing them there. But I think there's going to be a lot happening around deals, and I think we'll get into that today.
Yeah, we are definitely getting into that today. So, Lee, let's just set the stage. We're here right now. The event starts tomorrow. Everybody out there seems to be setting up. There's a lot of hullabaloo going on, as the old folks call it. So, what can we expect over the next couple of days? What kind of crowd do you think you're going to get here? And of course, we understand that things are fundamentally different than they were in 2019, but I suspect everyone wants to get back to it.
Yeah, everybody I've talked to the last couple of weeks is excited. They're planning on being here. As Chris said, there's going to be a lot of deal discussion taking place. From an attendance perspective, back in May, we had 1,200 and change in attendance. So we've sort of been saying, okay, let's target 1,400 and change from a budget perspective.
But Lee, hold on. You had 1,200, and last May, it was still freaking weird out there. And there was a lot of challenges that you guys also had to overcome. You partnered with Clear for the health check and all of that kind of stuff. Everybody was just kind of like, am I ready to go to conferences or not? So that was a great number then, but I bet it's going to be better now.
As of this morning, we're 1,600 and change.
Wow.
So we've certainly surpassed our budgets.
That's amazing.
Depending on walk-ups, we might hit 1,700, but who knows? But it's going to be a great turnout. Like I said, from everything I'm hearing, everybody's excited. Everybody's ready to get out. It will be a different feel, and that masks, are not required. Certainly encouraged if you would like to wear a mask, you're certainly welcome to do so, but they're not required.
And I've got one here just in case, but I hope it never comes. I
got mine too.
I hope it doesn't come out of my pocket though for the rest of the trip. I'll tell you. So, Chris, what are you hoping to experience over here? And don't forget to unmute yourself.
I know I'm out of practice. I'm out of
I know
practice.
you've totally lost your skill
I've
set.
totally
being a
lost my
CEO instead of a
skill set.
podcaster.
I've totally lost my skill set. So I've been busy at work. I think the thing that's great is, and that I've always loved about the Hunter Conference, is that we get a lot of people that are looking at the business not only for the first time, but they're making a re-entry. And there's been so much movement in the past 2 years with people doing very well in multifamily and selling some stuff at really low multiples. So there's money available to do what I do, which is deep turn hotel business. And I've got several people that are looking at, what's available and what segments need the most help. And where I play, there's a lot of help needed, right? Full service, upper upscale, secondary, tertiary markets. They've been hit the hardest, I know, because of my portfolio, but that creates opportunity. And so there's going to be a lot of people looking for opportunities, and Lee and Teague's show is the perfect place to find those and partner up with the brokers. So,
is there a market that is happening that's hotter than you would have thought it would be? Like, is there a market that came out of nowhere? Like, we know South Beach, we know Orlando. Orlando's rates are up 60% during spring break over 2019. It's crazy, with $1,700 to stay at one of the hotels, the Lowe's Hotel in South Beach this week. But is there any market that kind of came out of nowhere?
So, what's interesting is there's some markets in the middle of the country, and I'm thinking of Charleston, West Virginia right now, that had a whole bunch of infrastructure work. Their government decided to do a bunch of infrastructure during the pandemic.
Right.
So there was a ton of mid-scale travel, and I've got 3 hotels down in that market. We're very, very busy. Actually had a great couple of years down there. So, and they're not just roadside. We have a full service Holiday Inn, but anywhere that there was project work, other than that, though, those secondary, tertiary markets really struggled unless you were specifically roadside. So.
Right. Now, I want to bring Lee into here. Now, Lee, obviously, the entire highlight of this whole multi-day conference is the fact that I'm going to be hosting a panel on Wednesday at 10:50. But beyond the obvious, what are some of the highlights we're going to be seeing here? One of the good things is you always get some amazing brand CEOs, for example, coming here.
Yeah, we've got just about every brand CEO is going to be speaking. I think you're going to hear a lot about, obviously, the continuing topic of labor.
Right.
With interest rates being bumped a quarter point, last week, I think you'll hear that sort of discussion. I think we'll start hearing more discussion surrounding group and business and corporate travel. So I think it's going to, from that perspective, I think you're going to hear that from those guys. We're going to start the conference this year with a little bit different tact in that we have representatives from Clear and from Google. They're going to be presenting to the audience on the data that they collect and what they're seeing travel through airports, through the Clear, what Google's seeing from a Google travel perspective. So we're going to, hear a lot from those guys. In addition to, Adam Sachs, who's at Tourism Economics, who's just absolutely fantastic and is a crowd favorite every year, is going to be speaking. But, what I'm hearing a lot of, Glenn, your session with a lot of the brands. Yeah, with the chief development officers from those guys are real excited to talk about what they're doing and what they're seeing in their pipelines from a development perspective.
Yeah, and we're going to have Marriott, Hyatt, I think IHG, and Wyndham. I'm forgetting right now.
Yes, I think that's right.
Right. I think so too.
And what's been the initial conversation around the increase in interest rates?
I think everybody sort of baked those into their pro formas.
Right, because they knew it was going to be coming.
They knew it was coming,
Yeah.
so they sort of baked those into their underwriting. The question becomes, all right, how are there more bumps coming? Depending on who you talk to, I think they're anticipating more coming in the next rest of the year.
They kind of have to keep pushing it up in order to try to combat inflation that's happening right now. So that's going to mean a completely different strategy. But I'm curious, while we still have Lee, because Lee's not going to be able to stay with us too much longer. Chris mentioned a lot of deals he thinks is going to be happening. Tell us a little bit about how you kind of create the environment to get people to come together and have those meaningful conversations that go beyond what's happening on the show floor.
Well, the attendee that we try to attract here is the actual owner investor of the asset, right? And we figure if we can get the owner of the asset, the investor in the asset, to attend, then third-party management companies like Chesapeake will attend.
Right.
Brokers like myself and my day job will attend.
Right.
Lenders will attend. Other equity providers will attend. Contractors, architects, the like. Everyone who would care to do business with those owners, investors will in consequence attend as well.
Right.
And so a lot of what we'll see going on here is hey, I'm the owner. I'm working with Marriott because I want to develop a residence inn on a site I've got in name your market. Well, I can come to this conference and I get Marriott's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, my lender in either Wells Fargo or Western Alliance or PMZ Realty will be here, so they can get their debt provider here. They can get their brand here. They can get their architect who's here. So they can get everybody in a room and have a meeting talking about the deal that they're working on, as opposed to being on a Zoom call or a conference call. Yeah. Everybody's here. Everybody's talking about it. And then you'll see that happen 1,000 times.
And there's something unusual that happens at this event. People actually go to the sessions, which is pretty remarkable as well.
Part of our attendee base, our bread and butter attendee, they don't go to Alice. They don't go to NYU.
Right.
They may or may not go to the lodging conference. So they'll come here and they'll go to their brand conference, and that'll be it. So they come here to really hear what's going on, to hear what the brand CEOs think about interest rates, to hear what Tyler Henritze at Blackstone thinks about interest rates and what that's going to do for them and their portfolio of assets. They're a big global player. So I'm really looking forward to see what. He's a really smart guy.
Yeah.
Hearing what he has to say, Tuesday afternoon.
And can you get the links on Zoom? Like if I wanted to participate through Zoom, can I do that or no?
Yeah, we will be live streaming the conference. So if you're not able to attend, you can register and attend via the live stream. And even if you are in attendance, but there's multiple sessions going at any one time, and you obviously can only be in one place at one time.
Right.
You'll be able to download those the recordings of those sessions. Cool. So when you get home, next week, you can say, hey, I was in Glenn's session at Wednesday morning, so I missed another session at that time because I really wanted to see Glenn live. You can download and watch when you get back home.
So Glenn, shake somebody down so I can get the link.
I just saw you put a note in the private chat box. I will totally get you a link to that. Don't you worry about it. All right.
Yeah, you know what? You made it so interesting. I wish I could be there. I can't, but I definitely want to see some of those sessions.
What's really great about this, and Chris, you could probably attest to it, is it's a little bit more chill. Some of the other conferences feel a little bit more formal. Last year when we were here, it did very much feel like a family reunion, mostly because of COVID, but it's that same kind of vibe that happens here. It's, I don't know, something about the Southern hospitality or something, Lee. I think that makes this a little bit different than other.
It's definitely a point of emphasis for us. There's no question about that. We like to say the industry comes together at Hunter, right? And when you think about why we're in existence, and this is our 33rd one of these.
Amazing.
It was designed. Bob Hunter was at NYU and basically got mad and felt like he was looked down upon because he didn't deal in 1,000-room big convention center hotels, and needed a room, a conference for what he at the time defined as Main Street. So we view ourselves as the conduit between Main Street and Wall Street.
Yeah. Awesome. And anything else you want to add?
I totally
agree. Chris, you were going to say?
I just totally agree. I think that's why I love the Hunter Conference. I remember when we first started, when we were really attacking third party, this has been a long time ago, and I attended, and I would meet somebody and I would develop a conversation and they would say they're going to build whatever. And then I would take them to my brand contact and we would literally make a deal back then. Now I'm bringing my investor pool to the conference, but this conference has helped Chesapeake. I can't even tell you how much over the years. So
wow, that's pretty cool. And we actually became pretty close.
We did. One of my first interviews was at the Hunter Conference. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. I remember when we got that set up. That was a long time ago.
It's one of the few conferences that I always hear that work gets done, that work and deals get done.
Yes, that is true. And so does some cocktailing, but that's
so does some cocktailing.
Lee, anything else that you want to add before we let you go back to getting everything ready for tomorrow?
No, we're excited. Looking forward to everybody who's going to come be able to participate with us. Chris, I'll see you when you get here later today. Glenn, thanks for being here.
My pleasure,
Anthony,
man.
We'll get you here next year.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Bye.
All right. That was fun. Can I ask my friend Chris a question?
No.
Okay, Chris, this is becoming very, very important to me because it seems like all my clients, they want me to talk about this. The rubber has hit the road. Business is back.
Yep.
Things are really busy. Hotels have to execute. The labor pool is at a critical point, and the people that we get don't want to work, and they're doing it with a half a smile. I will tell you that I had an extraordinary experience at the Lowe's at Orlando. From the VIP managers to all the managers, they made me feel really, really special. Now,
Which one of the properties were you at?
it was the
The Portofino Bay,
no, the other one,
Royal Pacific, Hard Rock,
not Royal Pacific, the other one,
Hard Rock.
Royal Pacific,
Yeah.
I think one of those. Anyway, it was wonderful, and but because I had the assistant manager come out, I had the VIP manager come out, I had everybody make a big deal that I was there, that I was speaking, and they made me feel like a king. The VIP manager, Raymond, and the complex manager, I'm actually, hopefully we'll have them on the show soon. They were extraordinary and very passionate about their job. So I didn't really get to see kind of what a regular guest experience, but what I saw, just walking down the hall, everybody seemed happy and nice. Okay. With that said, that is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
I am seeing extremely bad service at these hotels that I'm going to. Not the hotel I just came to, but
Right.
and I think Glenn and I have had conversations off air where he's feeling the same way.
I am. As a matter of fact, I want to make it clear, I am not staying here at the conference hotel. I'm staying at another hotel, and the service that I've gotten is half-assed, and the people just don't care. I mean, I rolled up yesterday. I got first time this ever happened to me. I'm fortunate enough to be diamond with Hilton right now because of some people we know and a challenge I accepted and beat them at. So I got diamond status, and I went to go check in. First time I ever got a few days earlier saying I'm getting my room upgraded and all of that kind of stuff. And then when I checked in, the guy was like, didn't care. There were no rooms available, and too bad on me. I could wait until their check-in time at 4:30, even though it was already like 3:30, and they didn't know when housekeeping would be to the room. And if I really wanted, he could call and find out. And just like everything made me feel like they didn't want me there. It was really unfortunate.
So really my point of difference to me going through what we're going through is we've got to make it less about the hotel and about the brand and more about the individual, more about, hey, what do you want to do? This may be temporary. We'll help you get a job, maybe even out of the business. But right now, this is your job and we will support you. And I think what I'm seeing is everybody's like, how do we get these people excited? Like tomorrow I'm speaking to a BU class in hospitality.
Cool.
that I said, I'll do. They asked me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. When? I said, I think tomorrow, 4:00, we'll do it. So my point being is, and I'm going to have that conversation with them. I'm going to have that conversation of, this isn't about the hotel business. This isn't about the brand. This is about your life and your flexibility. Are we there yet? I mean, you're seeing these hotels and you're running these hotels and you're having problems with, I would imagine, these challenges. Like, what are you saying or doing that's different that's going to change the game?
Well, I mean, if you want to get right to the heart of the matter, we talked about it through the height of the pandemic, and we knew this was going to be a challenge. Nobody ever knew how big it was going to be. What we're talking about as a company is you've got to be the hotel in the market that people want to work at. And why is that? That we've got a better path forward. We've got a better culture. People can actually see a future. We have flexible scheduling. We're doing the things. I know you guys had Peter Ritchie on, or Ricky from USF or South Florida. And I read a post on LinkedIn that was posted, and he reposted it by someone, a millennial. And they said some very kind of things that hurt me, frankly. Oh, FAU. Okay. But when I thought about them, and as I tend to do, I was very reflective, and I thought, yeah, they're probably right. And it was really around the fact that we were like, oh gosh, we have made some mistakes in our employment path because we were doing so well as a business, and we didn't really give people a path forward, and we didn't really give them great benefits, and we didn't really have great culture. We were really driven by the debt funds and the coverage ratios of the hotel. And for us to make this kind of sweeping change, and the reason it's so complex is the brands like working at Hilton. I mean, I think Hilton is the number one employer or one of the top 5, every year, but they're a brand. They're not an operating company. And so the operating world is so fragmented that I can't, Chesapeake, I can work really hard and I can get all the employees in my market. But what is if I don't have a job ready for that person to go within Chesapeake, because I've only got 30 hotels, and they go to management company X and they don't believe the same thing, then you're basically souring that person on our business. And so the question is, how do we as leaders, myself and all my peers, get on the same page of, if we don't become a business of choice and a career of choice, we have no hope.
Wow.
And how do we do that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to rethink a lot of the way we do things, Anthony. I mean, we're going to have to think way, way, way outside of what you and I grew up, the hitting the bricks for 70 hours a week. And
I just had a conversation with somebody, a young person that loves their job in the hotel business. And he said to me, I like my job, but I sometimes work weekends and I sometimes have to work nights. And I just don't want to do that. So I'm going to do this job that allows me flexibility, work 3 days at home. And he's like, it's not has anything to do with my job. I love my job, but why should I, why should I work weekends and why? So it's just, and that's what we're up against, right? So it's not about only culture and it's not about benefits. It's about how can we change shift work? I don't, if we can solve that problem, like think about it. How do we change having to have somebody or more than one person at the desk of a 500-room hotel from 3 to 11? That's the equation we got to solve. And we can't, right? We can't solve that unless we get 100% remote check-in, 100% remote, bring up the plunger, 100% remote room service, which eventually will get there. But that is the only way I see solving this problem, because this isn't an us versus them thing. This is just simply like, I don't love you anymore. It's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I just don't love you anymore.
And I understand. And so many roles have gone to blended work weeks and remote work weeks. And there's been such a demand. So since we started staying home, what got busy? All the ordering online. So they need remote, order takers and package handlers and drivers. And then they got the new economy that was blossoming in the past 10 years, Uber and Lyft and all that, and DoorDash. But then it really blew up. So it kind of caught us flat-footed, frankly. And it's, Anthony, to your point, technology is going to be one path forward to solve it. Now, I still believe there's people that are passionate that will work weekends and nights because that's when it's fun. Really, it's when it's fun. If you love hospitality, when you're busy on a Saturday night with a 300-person wedding and a 500, there's nothing more fun than that, I promise you. But getting people to see that vision is difficult right now. So
yeah, I agree. I 100%. Like I said, I miss running hotels more and more every day. So I understand, but that's, and I don't see, Chris, this is the frustrating. That's why I asked you, because, Glenn has proven to me that you do know everything. So I don't see anybody doing anything. Simply. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't see anybody come up with a big idea. I don't see anybody shifting and changing everything. Like if you look at shopping online, right? It's like, we're like, yeah, good luck with that. God bless you and have a nice day. Nobody's buying shoes online, Zappos. And, you can sell books, but you're not, I'm not buying a bed online. Go screw yourself. And certainly I'm not buying a suit online or a tuxedo like I have. Good luck with that. He just fundamentally changed the game.
Right.
Point me in direction where somebody is fundamentally changing our game, because that needs to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it is, and I'm not an excuse maker, and I think I would love to. What is that called when you sit in a room and you kind of ideation or whatever, and you think. I imagine the people at like Disney and all that, they have rooms for that kind of stuff, right? So, but I don't know, and I do think that the fragmentation causes us problems. And here's the deal. I thought about this a lot. I was going to write a response to that post, kind of explaining to that young person, not excusing it, but why it is the way it is. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it all goes back to the fact that what are we going to be doing now? Like, what am I getting on the plane to do today? I'm going on the plane to go get deals. Yep. And as a third-party manager, the question is, Chris, why are you a better choice for me to extract as much money as I can from this piece of real estate than hotel management company X, Y, and Z? So what is your secret sauce? And it used to be about driving margins and NOI. Now, if we don't put labor at the front of that discussion, you won't be able to drive anything. I'll tell you now, the biggest limiting factor to success this rest of this year and next year is depressed labor. We won't be able to service the need.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. And Anthony and Chris, it gets me wondering if that has something to do with this big focus now on extended stay development. Obviously, people like it because it's a popular category for developers. And stay tuned at 9 a.m. I'm going to be releasing some big news that I can't share right now. So tune into a special pre-recorded thing that I did with an executive on that. But it makes me wondering, because you can get away with in a lot of these products 5 to 8, 9 full-time employees. I'm wondering if people are going in that direction so they don't have to worry about some of these particular issues. Am I onto something, or is that segment just so good people are looking at it?
I mean, I think there's a lot to that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
finding 9 employees is easier than finding 100.
Yeah.
I have a good friend that runs a big resort down in Florida, big, busy resort. And now he just went into season a couple of weeks ago. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I'm just wondering how he's doing. You know, I'm just wondering how that's possibly going, because they charge extremely high rates and they're very popular. And I just, you know, I don't want to bother him right now, but I'm just really fascinated with how it's going, because I'm sure that the Fairfield Inn across the street is also full. And they might have been able to find 9 employees or 12 to run it.
Right.
I have one hotel that I know, a very kind of fancy hotel, 4-star, and no valet and no doorman and no bellman. And they're charging $900, $1,000 for a room. And they're making apologies. They're just like, we don't have labor. You want to be here? This is the rate. I'm sorry. And I'm seeing that more and more across the room. Like I'm seeing, you know, people charging $1,500 in Florida and going, there's no room service. And one of our restaurants is closed. I'm sorry. It's like, it's not even like they're trying. It's like, that's it. We can't do it. Let's move on from that conversation.
Wow. Dr. Producer Suzanne just said she has more employees banging down the door for students and graduates than she has students in the program, and she can't fill the need. So there's a real serious issue coming our way.
Right. And again, one of the reasons I'm having this conversation with the BU students is for that reason. We all, including Glenn, including you, including Suzanne, every single student that's interested in hospitality, we've got to spend as much time and as much effort. Yeah. I was talking to a kid this weekend, a food and beverage guy who's graduating, and he loves food and beverage. And as I'm talking to him, I'm trying to talk him out of maybe going into a different path because food and beverage is so difficult. But the more he was talking, the more I saw his passion. So now I'm like doubling down, going, yeah, absolutely. Well, how can I help you? Where can you're like such an enigma. It's like you want to work these weddings and these banquets and these food and like you want to do it. That's wonderful. And they're few and far between. So that's why I think it is our obligation to really, whatever we can do, whether it's higher pay, better hours, flex time, 4-day work weeks, whatever you want to do. You know, everybody in New York City wants to be a fireman because they're on 24, off 24, right? And they got 3 jobs and they do well and they own restaurants and stuff and they have the flexibility. Yeah, it's a dangerous job, but they love it because it's flex time. You know, everybody wants to be a fireman. So we've got to figure out flex time for shift work. So maybe it's 3 days on, 3 days off. Maybe it's, 10 hours, 12 hours. I don't know, but I think we may have to have a conference, Chris and Glenn.
Yeah.
Chris, Anthony, and Glenn.
The labor conference. I love the idea. I mean, we've been talking about some of those things, Anthony, but I would, if you're watching, I would hire you today. If you want to work 2 days on and 5 days off, we'll make a space for you. If you love hospitality and you love caring for guests.
If we say us 3 or we get a bunch of partners involved and we say we want to do a labor conference, you think people would be interested?
Yeah.
All right.
I do. I think you'd have to get some outsiders that are doing it well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves, right, Chris?
And also people to say, we're looking at you guys and thinking, why are you doing it that way? I want to hear that. I want to hear people going, you guys are idiots for doing this like this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's how we're going to learn, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, we're all in a room. We're all coming from the same point of view and the same backgrounds in a lot of instances. So we're going to give like a feedback loop of stuff that we think we need to hear, but aren't necessarily introducing new ideas and concepts.
The thing I was just thinking is which, as you were saying, Anthony, that we've got to attack this. It made me think of in the old days. I'm going to date myself when we had a dishwasher that wasn't working out, and you're the GM of the restaurant, because I was a restaurant guy before I got in hotels, and the dishwasher is a pivotal part of the restaurant. But if they were not behaving or they were talking or behaving some way that they shouldn't be working, a lot of people would never send the dishwasher home. Because why? Nobody wanted to wash the dishes.
Right.
And I remember making the choice one day because I had a problem and I sent the guy home and I washed dishes the rest of the shift to make a statement. But also what I realized, though, is I took myself away from managing the restaurant that time. So maybe that wasn't the best decision. So kind of what we're talking about now is we're all of us. I'm busy managing hotels right now. We're dealing with a lot of firefighting around the industry. If you have a portfolio, you're busy with day-to-day issues. So how you take any time at all and go, let me what'd you call it? Think
Brainstorm.
Ideation.
Whatever.
Brainstorm.
Yeah, ideation. Whatever. Let me take a day to do that with my team about hiring people.
Yeah.
There's no time.
Right. It's amazing how we went from having so much time to absolutely zero time in our lives. So let me bring it back to conferences, Chris, because you're going to be getting on a plane soon to come up over here to the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference taking place at the Marriott Marquis the next 3 days. And I'm curious as to how you maximize your conference experience here. You need to close deals. You need to have meaningful bump-ins with people. You need to learn from others. How do you figure that all out in order to make sure that it's going to be time well spent?
So we used to go hunting for deals at the Hunter conference, right? And normally I come in with deals in mind now. So I've got an equity source and I've got an asset style, and I've even got some ideas about branding. So for me, maximizing my time is getting everybody on the same page on an asset. Like, okay, would you guys do a DoubleTree or a Tapestry or a Tribute in this market? Yes. Okay. Would you guys fund it? Would you guys do debt on this hotel? And it's bringing those pieces together. And I love it because you can get everybody in a room and kind of make some things happen. You can move the ball, 6 to 10 weeks forward in one day. And so I think that's the way you strategize for me to make a difference. I've got an equity source looking for deals. So I'm coming in looking for some stuff that'll fit in his wheelhouse, right? He's got a specific investment thesis and it fits with what we're doing. So I'm going to be really pursuing those. And I think you get more out of it when you have that. But I do remember coming in with no deals and you interviewed me, and then I would shake hands all day and some guy would say, oh, I'm looking at this. Oh, I love managing those. And it would start a conversation. And it's just really exciting. For those of you out there watching us today, that's the exciting part, is you can be part of creating something. And it's not just checking people in and out. You work hard for several years, you can move into development, or you can move into, analytics, or you can move into, financing. It's just, we just don't do a great job and haven't done a great job of telling people. I was wondering if the brands shouldn't start their own schools and then charge some fee if you want to hire one of their trainees.
Don't give them any ideas.
No, talking about schools, you're going to be talking at our school, the Anthony Mercury Institute down in Fort Pierce, with me and Suzanne. So we'll be recruiting you. Let me ask you, completely off topic.
Okay.
You said DoubleTree, right?
Yeah.
DoubleTree, when it first came into the market, was a very interesting product. Where is DoubleTree today?
Making people happy through cookies.
I mean, DoubleTree is a really solid performing hotel in that upper upscale where you can go in, you can fight off older Marriott, or you can fight off an older Sheraton, and you can.
It's a really smart conversion, right?
It's a great conversion brand.
Did DoubleTree for a while have some problems, and then they kind of were really investing time and money in it, and have they come out the other side?
I think they have. We've got a couple that just crush it, so I love it. I'm a big fan of the Hilton brands. I'm a big fan of the Marriott brands. Where you need them. I love independents too, but only in the right spots. So, but I think DoubleTree is in good shape, and I would certainly do a DoubleTree today. You can get a lot of market share out of those boxes.
Yeah, I always like DoubleTree, and I always like their cookie.
What stinks is other people have started giving out cookies. I was somewhere the other day and they're like, hey, you want a cookie? I'm like, it's not a DoubleTree cookie.
Okay, if you're ever down at Pier 17 getting the ferry, go to Happy Face Bakery. Okay. They have, and I was in the bakery business and we make cookies. They have the best chocolate chips cookie you will ever find on planet Earth or any other planet.
Ooh.
It was $6, and I am telling you, it was the best baked product that I've ever put in my mouth. So Happy Face, downtown near the Pier 17, unbelievable cookies. Just you learn something.
All right, now I'm getting really hungry over there. I also want to say, Chris, I love your Indigo in Baltimore. That's a great property.
Thank you. That's a really busy, successful hotel.
Yeah.
Great
leader, great GM. So,
what market has not come back?
I mean, the Northeast corridor downtown. I mean, they just are not busy. So it's just not. I don't want to call it any specific market, but there's several that are just very, very soft. Still running 40% below 19. So, you guys mentioned, Glenn. I did want to catch on to this. Yeah. Group has really been picking up pace. I mean, in
what way, Chris?
I mean, across the board, corporate associations are coming back. I mean, we have a lot of association boxes that do big, 400 or 500 people, and they're picking back up and they're booking, in the year for the year. We actually beat our booking pace goals January, February, and March. I mean, we're going to beat March for sure. So there's a lot of energy, and we're really pacing towards. There's a chance I could get to 19 room nights this year, which was totally unexpected in group.
Well, we said the last 6 months of 2022 were the best 6 months we've ever had in our industry. We'll see what happens.
So, Chris, when you're talking about filling the rooms, what about the rate? Are you going to be able to maintain profitability even as the cost of operations continues to climb? I know that was a concern the last time we spoke.
I think you're going to be able to maintain similar profitability. It's going to look different, right? Your cost structure is going to be different, but we are able to do some things to offset the rising costs in labor. And I'm proud of the industry because we did, in general, maintain rate integrity throughout the pandemic.
Awesome.
Other than a few key people. So,
yeah.
And that helps. I mean, right. Cause after 0809, we were bouncing off these super low numbers. So we had all this way to go. Now we don't, we're bouncing off pretty decent numbers. And the cool part about what's going to happen is groups coming back, and the group that's coming back is corporate instead of Smurf. So we're already at this baseline.
Right.
And then when business transient comes, all of that's higher rated stuff, right? GDS stuff. So all of a sudden rate's going to take off from this point instead of this point.
Well, I'll tell you, if Universal was any indication last week when I was down there, a family of 5, I did the math, a family of 5 spending 5 nights at Universal or Disney World would spend no less than 10 grand. No less than 10 grand. Wow. I mean, think about a vacation when you were kids for 10 grand. I mean, my mom used to take us to Disney World for $1,200 for the whole week.
Right.
And I mean, 10 grand. So, and it was packed. It was absolutely packed. What's happening in Vegas right now is like, it's insane. It's so, people don't mind spending the money. They just don't.
Yeah. I just booked a flight to Vegas for early May, and I'll tell you more about that later, Anthony. $750. I mean, you kidding me with that? That's ridiculous. That was not a first class seat.
Wow.
Is that for IHG, Glenn?
No, it's for Choice.
And I think it's going to get
2 weeks later.
And listen, what's happening in Europe? I just had a conversation with a friend of mine whose daughter was going to Germany in May, and he's like, "You got to cancel it. You can't go to Europe right now." So, and we're starting to see a lot of people cancel European vacations because of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and staying in. So, I think you're going to have those people that were going to go away, stay in the United States. We're going to be busier than we even thought.
That's true. And when we were at the Alice conference, Cindy Estes Green of Calibri Labs was saying just that our hotels in the United States benefited from people not being able to travel overseas. And I suspect, Anthony, you're 100% right. We were talking, we've been talking for several years now about trying to get over Japan. That's not yet viable. So option 2 was, hey, let's go to Europe. Why not? Let's go see some of those castles. But Anthony, now we're on the point of, I don't know what's going over there. And my friends in Europe are like a little anxious. So I think we're going to Hawaii instead or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's what every single person I'm talking to that was about to go to Europe canceled their plans. So that's horrible. But our industry, I think we're, like we said, Chris, in the beginning, it's unfortunate, but we almost have to throw our hands up and go, hey guys, thanks for the rates. Thanks for coming to our hotel. We're going to keep the room clean for you. We're going to try to, keep the pools and the restaurant open, but you got to give us a break because this isn't our fault. And that's kind of where it seems it is. And I just had somebody complaining about something, and I was just like, dude, like, you don't understand what they're going through. It's like, just shut up and just go to the beach and like just leave it alone. It's like they're just trying to survive. And, and it's unfortunate. And again, I think one of the reasons, and I'm actually working with a company again, I'll tell you about, I'm going to have a meeting with them today, that kind of leads into my whole idea of having this labor conference, because we are not smart enough to solve this problem ourselves. We need outside resources, like you said, Chris. We need big minds, and we need resources to really figure out this problem from a technology standpoint, and also from looking at our schedule that we always looked at 7-3, 3-11, 11-7, and say, okay, let's fix this. Do we ever get to a point where we don't check people in at the front desk and you have to do remote? Do we ever get to where we don't have anybody at the front office on a Monday? Like it seems like it's getting to the point where we've got to just think out of the box. Or when we're shutting hotels and we're shutting floors and we're not doing deals because we know we're not going to be able to get the labor, I don't know if it gets any worse.
Yeah, I still struggle, Anthony, and that's where we need somebody. I struggle with the franchise model. Right, how that's going to be, because it's easy for Amazon or Walmart to make a change. And I'm just using them as an example. We're going to do X for our people. Well, that's every Walmart, right? But it's if Chris Green says we're going to do X, we're going to do all this technology, or I'd have to have a large majority of all the managers in America agree to do the same thing, or else it's going to be you get this here, and then all of a sudden we're fragmented again.
No.
I think that's the biggest challenge. And is how do we get everybody on the same page? Now, everybody needs labor, but again, you've got to answer to the debt service. That's just the way we're built. I know it sounds crazy to combine those two, but at some point, you've got to answer. Does everybody have the right? Do they have their capital accounts funded to do all new check-in kiosks that are remote? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
I sound like a naysayer. I hate that.
No, I think
you bring it for the real problems. Sorry.
This to me is the answer, right? And I don't know if we're going to ever get there. Technology, less employees, but better quality that we pay higher prices, right? That we pay a higher salary. I think that's it. It's technology with less employees and we pay better wages. In Orlando, the housekeeper is making $15, $16 an hour. Do you know how much the Target person's making in Orlando? $23 an hour.
Why would you do
Target? Why in God's name would I clean 18 toilet bowls?
Yeah.
When I can put, bras back on the rack.
Right.
And
I'm gonna let that one sit there for a minute.
Yeah.
And people like you that are running the race, you can't change a tire if you're in the car running the car, right? If you're in Daytona 500, you got to stop and go to the pit stop. And right now, you need to change your tire, but you're too busy trying to win the race.
Well, and to your point, Anthony, even the next couple of days, we might hear some fascinating things, but the question is anybody doing anything about it?
Right. No, that's the big issue, right?
It's a hotel business. The answer is no.
Everybody loves to talk, but real progress.
By 7 o'clock in the third drink, everybody forgets, right?
Oh God, yes, I know. It's so bad that I try to remember to take the business cards and write notes on them, so I'll remember something, and then I can't even remember to do that. So you think after 25 years I have that part of it figured out.
Yeah.
But so Chris, then it seems like it's almost insurmountable, some of these problems that we're having. So do you think that this maybe symbolizes maybe more of a movement towards those independent properties because it gives you more control, or is it really more of a national issue that we all have to get behind when it comes to issues such as labor or technology, not to even the playing field, but at least to get people all on the same page?
I think that the brands are going to have to be involved at a high level, and independence not going to matter. You're going to be able to attract talent in some areas just because of the nature of the area, right? There's some hotels you can go to that are busy now, and because they're pulling people from other areas of the country that are not busy. So the people that love hospitality are maybe they're in Denver now instead of in New Jersey or whatever. Right. I'm not picking on New Jersey.
Understand. Yeah, just as
And I don't want to be a naysayer. I've always been the guy that said we need to peek over the horizon. I just don't think any of us saw this over the horizon, and I don't know that we have any good solutions. It's probably going to take listening to a board or a panel of people that are 25 years younger than us, and asking them the one simple question: what would it take for you to work in hospitality? And then not choking on the answers, right? It's just, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the answer.
Daniel's saying something interesting. He says he thinks having employees be part of the ownership or being part of hotel success would be rewarding. That's what Humanist Hospitality is doing. They're giving their associates a share of the profits, which I think is motivating in some way. But Chris, doesn't necessarily make you an engaged personnel or want to be a lifetime hospitality professional.
No, the difference in hospitality, true hospitality people, is we need to fix all the employment issues the wrongs that we had made or whatever. But you got to love it. You got to love serving people. I would never want anybody working with me that just is hanging on to get paid out on their one share of.
Yeah.
I want them to be engaged and excited. And how do we do that? You know,
but I think his idea is a good idea. And I actually was thinking about it. I was going to say something where we need to give, when you hear companies, whether it be when Delta gave right before the pandemic or in the beginning of the pandemic, gave their employees a big bonus right at the end. And I speak to people because I fly Delta all the time, and they say that made a difference. Like that, like showed them that they cared. Whether it be Starbucks that gives a percentage. It makes a difference, but that's not the only thing. It's not the only thing. I think that is major. I think that's a really good starting point, but it's the time off. It's the flexibility. It's the most important out of all of the things that I just spoke about. What's the most important? Having a good boss. Like Chris Green, the people that work for you and have worked for you for a long time, they work for you because not one person's ever said a bad thing about you. That makes a big difference. And you got to put all of that together. And then people are like, I don't want to leave. Like, it's not about the pay and it's not about the profit. It's about all of it. But the people at the top, the executive level and the mid-level managers don't have the skill. Forget about the resource. They don't have the skill. They don't have the people ability. They don't have the initiative. They don't have the understanding of you can discipline someone and straighten them out without killing the vibe of the entire hotel. Matter of fact, not only you have to straighten them out, if you don't, the rest of the vibe of the hotel is going to go by the wayside because they're like, why is this guy getting away with being mediocre? So to me, the greatest problem we face is our managers don't have the skill set to manage complex issues.
Yeah. You'll like this, Anthony, I think. We just had somebody get promoted to a GM role that I pegged as a GM 5 years ago. I said, this person's going to be a GM. I could just see it. Just because the way they move about the property and the way they care and they commit themselves. And so the day came and my SVP called and said, do you support so-and-so? And I said, absolutely. And when I had the final interview, I was so compelled by the energy around the interview that I said, I'm going to do something that I really don't have time for. But I'm gonna invest in you personally. We're gonna do biweekly one-on-ones, and I want you to bring every issue, and I'm gonna help you to see what it really means to lead as a great GM. As far as I know how to do it, I did an okay job doing it. I thought so, but I'm investing in this person, and the issues that have been brought up are just what you said, Anthony. How do I in Chesapeake we call them the riverbanks, or how do I hold the guardrails? How do I hold the guardrails without losing my team? I'm like, it's super easy, and I'm not going to give the secrets away today, but we can have that conversation someday. But new managers aren't getting that kind of training. They're getting the drive the GOP, drive the POR. What's your last night's booking? How high can you get the rate?
Right.
Turn and burn. That's not leadership. I really never, and all you leaders out there that are listening, I spent all my time investing in my people, and the results just happened. I'm not saying I didn't watch the financials, but if you take Marriott, what's his name? Mr. Marriott said it, you take care of the people, they'll take care of the rest. And I mean, that's true, but you got to know how to take care of them. And I don't mean bending over backwards to do good, but you've also got to be really firm on what it means. If you're going to work in Anthony Melchiori's hotel, this is the way it's going to be. As long as you're inside this framework, that's great. But this is what it takes to be successful. And a lot of leaders today aren't comfortable with that. They're just not. And
then they hold on to mediocrity. They hold on to it because, listen, I'm going to take an hour or a year to find another person, so we're just going to accept it. And they're afraid. They're afraid of their employees because they're afraid of we're going to break. Well, we're broken, so we have no choice we have to maintain our integrity for the employees that do want to work. And it's easy for me to say, because right now I'm not running the day-to-day operations of hotels. I'm consulting, developing, but I'm not holding the bag, and so it's easy for me to say, but even when I was holding the bag, I mean, there was days where it was tough and I would not hire somebody. End of story. We had 18 executives at Nickelodeon, and there were 17 that were gone in 6 weeks when I got there. And we had one executive, and we dealt with mid-level managers until we hired executives that we found. And it took a long time, but we found them and we built a great team. So we cannot put mediocre managers in place. Having a mediocre housekeeper, mediocre front desk person is dangerous for today, but putting a mediocre manager in place is dangerous for tomorrow.
I have a question I just thought of. Can I ask Anthony a question?
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Anthony.
Oh boy.
I know you're
love
very
this.
confident. I know you're a very confident person. So you got hired. You're getting hired tomorrow to run the DoubleTree downtown Dubuque, Iowa, whatever. Do you feel confident as the general manager you would figure out a way to staff your hotel and take care of your guests?
The answer is I'll die trying. And the answer is the first thing I would do is I would go into a meeting with my employees and I said, everybody, here's a whiteboard, write all the problems on the whiteboard. Now, I would have spent 24 hours running around the hotel without them really knowing what I was doing. And I would already have those problems in my own pocket because I would know them because I just spent 24 hours running around the property. And then I would have another whiteboard saying, okay, solve those problems for me. Solve them. Every one of them, and you get X amount of dollars to solve the problem, solve them. Once we get through that process, then I would sit in my job and say, okay, let's go forward. So the answer is I wouldn't want that job. That to me wouldn't be fun right now because I know those challenges are so significant and I can't really turn around the hotel until we solve those problems. But yeah, I would feel confident that I would be good to do it, but I would do it based on, but I've always done it that way. I've always ran around the hotel for 24 hours and then I gave everybody the problems and said, solve the issues because I'm not smart enough to solve them. And then I would start that process.
Well, I know you would too. I think the intent of the question I had was we need to generate leaders that believe enough in themselves that they can get out there and they'll do whatever it takes to.
Well, my point being is the way I just told you what I would do.
No, I think so.
Leader. It creates.
No, I agree. But
because
you're that kind of leader.
You're looking for the bald guy that was on TV or whoever he was to come in and to solve your problems. I'm saying no. I am the least. I don't have the answers, and I'm the dumbest person in the room. Okay, I can't speak. Okay, once you start showing them that they have the answers, that's how you develop leaders. My greatest leaders I've ever worked with were 20 years younger than me and right out of school because we did things like that. We made them solve the problem. So the answer is it is the most challenging time in our industry by a long shot. And I think just getting the doors open and not having bad comment cards, not even good comment cards, just not have really bad ones is a win right now. For the best.
Well, that opens a whole can of worms, right? Because and I love the brands, they know that, but in this day and age, boy, meeting guests' expectations is. Oh, so one of the biggest questions everybody knows this. One of the brands is intent to recommend, right?
Yep.
Well, if you have just a mediocre stay, even if you were whatever, are you going to give a high rating?
No.
Oh, no. So if you don't give an 8, 9, or 10. Then it's a 0. Right. So if you give a 7, like it was 6, guess what it equals? 0.
Yeah. Well, the hotel that I'm staying at here, they don't have the executive lounge open still. Some of the amenities are still not closed. I mean, I understand on one hand, but it seems to me that at this point they're doing themselves a disservice by using the COVID as a continual.
No, but Glenn, it went from an excuse for a little while to it's not an excuse. They don't have the staff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you a story offline of what happened to me in one of my companies today. I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that because it's sending. Like I can understand if they don't have the people, but as a customer that is expected to pay more than ever in a lot of instances. I think the forgiveness factor is continuing to drop by the.
Well, I also think it's the brands who, and I can say this, maybe Chris can't, maybe other people can't, maybe you can't, but I can. The brands cut their staff. The brands cut their level of service. They're not being held to the same standards that they're holding the management companies to. If we would hold the brands to the same level of service and ask for the same report card, they would be mediocre at best right now. Now, I hear owners say every day, the brands are doing their best. They're there. They make my phone calls, whatever. They listen to me, but they're not accomplishing a lot because they can't, because they don't have the staff to do it. That one regional vice president that was over 40 hotels is now over 400 hotels.
Yeah.
So they're expecting you guys to hold the level of standard when they're not holding the level of standard. They're trying, but they're not.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fascinating. I'll be happy to be part of wherever you're having this conference. I probably do more listening than talking because I need to hear some stuff. But.
Right. I hear you. So Chris, before we wrap up, I don't know what supply chain issues you may or may not be experiencing, but you got to be getting close to the opening of Hotel Marcel up in Connecticut.
We're so close to the opening of the Hotel Marcel. Yeah. So I would say 3 to 4 weeks out, we're hoping. Beautiful. Right. So it's
Are we doing our podcast? Are we doing our podcast from there?
We've got to set that up now. As soon as you realistically know when you're going to be able to open those doors, we'd love to be able to come by and
we have to use low emissions equipment though. You'll have to, I mean, that's part of our deal up there, right? So we have to have green broadcasting equipment. I don't know what that looks like, but
well,
it's all rechargeable.
Our daily fee to do a podcast from an opening hotel is $50,000 a day. So put that in your budget.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I'll get right on that.
Or actually, no, I'm sorry. We changed it to breakfast and a drink.
Oh, I can do that one.
Hold out for dinner, brother. Hold out for dinner.
I'll even throw in dinner. Throw in dinner. I look forward to seeing you, Glenn. It's been a while, my friend. And Anthony, I'm sorry I don't see you this week, but I'll see you soon, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see me. I'll be out there in the world sooner rather than later.
Let me know when the school is starting down in South Florida. I'll be happy to come down.
Yeah, we're really excited about that, and it's becoming more and more important as we speak.
I want to teach leadership and then true deal underwriting, not the kind that's just pen and paper, really underwriting a deal.
I'll take that class.
Yeah.
I love
it. Mike says 50 grand. That's like 3 weeks at Universal.
Well, you mean that's 1 week with the VIP tour at the Universal?
That's the weekend.
Yeah, seriously, that VIP tour at Disneyland is nothing to joke about, but I highly recommend it for the glitterati out there that can afford it. Chris, before we let you go, any final words that you'd like to say? Any shameless plugs you got in you?
Let's see. What haven't I said in a while? I love this business. I'm excited to be going back to Hunter because I do get to see a lot of people and talk to people I care about, the relationships you make in our career, because you do fight a lot of battles in this business. I mean, I think there's other businesses where it's not the same, where you're not on the front lines fighting battles. So I think it's time for us to stand up and get back to what we love. It's going to be harder than ever, but I'm happy about it.
When you teach that leadership class, I want you to teach this. First of all, I want to make a comment. I said we have to bring sexy back to hotels, and those glasses bring sexy back. So thank you. Number two, this is what I want you to teach. I want you to teach an entire semester on how you fight those battles, and don't let people see you sweat. Don't get aggravated. Don't get emotional. Solve the problems without getting everybody around you nervous, because that's been your secret sauce and your success your whole life. Like, I know from seeing you during COVID and now, the blood's back in your face, right? You look normal now. During COVID, you didn't look normal and you looked like we all looked, but you never acted the way you looked, right? You never acted like, the blood was in your face because you were dealing with a lot of stress, but you always were calm, cool, and collective. If you teach that, we solve all our problems.
Well, what good is it?
Very few leaders can do that.
What good is it, though, right, Anthony? One of my favorite things is I remember this, and I'll end with this. I ran a resort in Florida too, one of the busiest ones in Florida. It's been a long time ago, but I remember standing on the pool deck when it was chaos. There was 4,000 people in the building, families. Both the pools were full. The bar outside on the pool deck was packed. But for me, and even some of my team was running around, but for me, it was just calm. Because if you can lead your people calmly, listen, inside, I got a million things going. Okay, well, I got to check on that. I got to call engineering about that. But calm sets your team up for success. And there's just no reason to get fired up about it other than excitement. I love excitement from leadership. But that is, though, being a true student. And it comes from being curious, understanding every part of your business and asking questions and never being too proud to say, I don't know. I still say that all the time. I was talking to somebody the other day about some legal documents. You know what I said? I don't know what that means. Somebody tell me what that means. So.
Yeah, cool.
All right, Glenn.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you tomorrow, my friend. Can't wait.
To the airport. Yep. See you tomorrow.
Take care. Right. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good to see everybody on your screen here. I know. Totally. We all got to get together and hang out just socially. Maybe we'll get to do that when they open up Marcel. That'll be really nice.
All right, buddy, take us out.
All right, everybody, make sure you get our audio version of the podcast. And for some reason, if you're listening to the audio version, why not check out our video version? You can do that too. Listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher.
Okay, so Glenn, we've lost Glenn, and I don't know what happened, but Glenn, it's great to see you. And it's time for your shameless
I'm
plug.
coming back. I'm here. I don't know what happened. All right, there we go. Do that stuff. Let's get out of here before we tempt fate. All right, everybody. You got one life, so blaze on, and
Be kind to yourself.
see you all tomorrow with Choice Hotels tomorrow, Sonesta on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we're going to be doing a special broadcast with HFTP that we're going to be simulcasting. That should be a lot of fun, too. So see you guys later.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.